Welcome to sportsbookreview.com. I'm Flash, and this is your CPBL in Taiwan and KBO in South Korea for the baseball. I've got Jason Radowitz with me. But before we go to Jason, then please subscribe, press the button, ring the bell so that we can notify you, and you will never miss any content again. And if you press the link in the description, you can go over and see Jay's article, have a good read. Not just Jay over there, there's plenty other writers for plenty other sports. Jay, yesterday, CPBL, and we have a plus winner.
Yeah, that was fun. The brothers now have won 6 straight games, and they are absolutely destroying competition. Now they're tied in first place with the Monkeys, and they're playing again tomorrow morning, and the Monkeys aren't. So if they get another win tomorrow morning, they will be in first place, touching nobody.
Yeah, the brothers, 6 straight wins. Monkeys, well, they cannot buy a win. And they go in front against the Uni Lions. And the Lions come back and won. And you did lean on that at plus 160. So some people would have gone with that.
Yeah, I think there were a couple people on Twitter that said that they went with the Uni Lions. Right now, we are trying to figure out if the Monkeys could even beat the Hanoi Eagles. They're playing so poorly. So at this rate, it's always just going to fade the Monkeys at this point.
Yeah, I fancy the Monkeys against the Hanwha Eagles. The Hanwha Eagles, I did say yesterday, and I didn't mean to, 16 straight defeats. I'm not even going to mention them until after Jay decides on what he's going to do. Well, let's kick straight off. CPBL, there's one game. It's the Brothers versus the Guardians. Everyone will be thinking, Brothers, 6 straight wins. Are we going with the Brothers to make it 7?
Yeah, we have to keep going with the Brothers during the streak. Have to. So we're going an official play with the CTBC Brothers at minus 180. It's not terrible for a line of a team that just on a really great hot streak. They're playing against Brian Woodle of Fubin. He's got a 7.01 ERA, a 7.62 FIP, and then the Guardians will pitch NC Hung, who's got a 4.33 ERA and a 5.53 FIP. Both pitchers have pitched well as of late. Woodle has been better compared to his beginning starts of the season. He's been striking out a lot more batters as of late. He's got 15 strikeouts in 2 games against the Brothers. And like before this, he was just getting like 1 strikeout per game. Now it's kind of ramped up a little bit, and he allowed only 4 and 3 runs in those 2 starts against the Brothers. He pitched well in his last start, but also allowed 6 home runs in his last 3 games, which is very concerning for anybody, any pitcher in the league. With Hong, he averages about 3 to 4 runs allowed per game, per start. He had 1 bad start against the Uni Lions where he allowed 7 runs in that start. But overall, outside of that game, it's always 3 to 4 runs per start. He's a good strikeout thrower. He had 9 in his last game. I think Hong will be able to keep them in this game. I'm thinking both pitchers allow 3 to 4 runs in their starts when the bullpens come in, and whichever bullpen is worse will prove that what team should win. So I would take the over 13.5. We know we're probably going to get about 8 runs in this game to start it off, and then the bullpens will allow the remaining runs in that game. So I would lean towards the over 13.5, but definitely an official play on the Brothers at minus 180.
So if we're going for over 13.5, would you put anyone off who's sitting at home watching this now and going, the Brothers at minus 180, what about the Brothers minus 1.5 at around maybe minus 125?
It's a CPBL. Everything is so risky. A lot of one-run games, and you just never know when the bullpens come in. So in the CPBL, I would probably stay away from any run line action. KBO, you can definitely do that, but in the CPBL, I would definitely stay away right now with so many games finishing with 1 run, as did this morning in that game, which was 6-5.
Okay, well then let's go to South Korea, and it's the KBO, and there were some wonky old results, plenty one way. So if you went with plus 1.5, I fancy you was in, because a few of the dogs, they came up trumps. Let's start off with the Tigers versus the Wiz, Jay.
Yeah, this is another really, look, the Tigers, they've won their last 2 games against KT on the road. Everyone's coming into this series saying, okay, Kia, they're terrible on the road. KT is really good at home. KT is going to dominate. Well, I came in and said Kia was going to win the game 1. Then I made an official play game 2. and now making an official play for Game 3. So we're going with the sweep on official plays with Kia at minus 177, around that range. Min Woo leads on the mound for Kia. He started 6 games, and he's got a 3.86 ERA with a 3.22 FIP. And then his WHIP is 1.1. And then on KT side, they've got Kim Min Soo on the mound. He's got a 12.19 ERA, a 6.96 FIP, and a WHIP of 2.81. Kim Min Soo, he's kind of been a little bit unlucky. Batting average of balls in play is .513, which means more than half of the balls in play have been hits. So yeah, he's allowed 25 hits in 10 innings. That's going to go down as he gets more starts under his belt. He's only had 1 start this season, 9 other relief appearances. But Lin Min Woo, he had 3 quality starts in his last 4 games, and he's been quality in his last couple of starts. So yeah, Kia official play at minus 177. And I'll also lean towards the under 11. Look, again, we saw the last 2 games where the LG Twins had a big money line, run line spread, and then you go to this morning with Kiwoom, and then both those teams lose. So this game is kind of like that, where it's like Kia is an obvious winner. They're obviously going to win. I'm hoping that Kia stops that streak of those big teams losing in these weird spots, because this is an obvious one for Kia.
Just educate the people at home. What was the score in this game, the Tigers versus the Wiz in Game 2?
It was 10-0 after just 5 innings. There was after the 5 innings, there was rain, and they finished the game after being 10-0. So yeah, lots of walks in that game. Kia did a really great job being patient at the plate. They got the job done. Then they had some homers, some really good clutch hitting, and so yeah, the KT just their entire team is not very good. I think they're a little bit overrated during their hitting parade. I would say KT is pretty low with their pitching. Their hitting's not been nearly as effective anymore. So I would say KT is near the bottom of the pack in the KBO.
And we'd say Kia maybe at minus 1.5 as well?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a play. I'm able to get Kia at minus 175-ish, around that range. I think that's fine. I don't need to worry about another extra run in that game. But yeah, if you're feeling risky, absolutely.
There's no risk,
I think
Jay. Come on.
Destroy.
There's no risk. It just won 10-0. I'm not surprised they didn't come out to bat the last few innings by turning the bat round and just hitting it with the handle. Honestly, it's like the stuff in the playgrounds. 10-0, well, we crushed them. Okay, here's another game that went completely the other way. It's the Doosan Bears versus the NC Dinos.
Yeah, I was impressed with Alcantara, how he pitched in this one against the Dinos. Yeah, this time we've got Young Ha Lee for Doosan going. He's an interesting guy because he's got a 4.24 ERA and a 4.36 FIP, but then he only has 24 strikeouts and 23 walks. So his strikeout to walk ratio is pretty poor. And then Mike Wright for the Dinos, he's got 31 strikeouts and just 16 walks with a 2.65 ERA and a 4.86 FIP. If you look at the whips, Mike Wright's got a 1.18 whip, and then Ha Lee has a 1.68 whip. I would definitely lean towards Mike Wright. He's got 8.2 strikeouts per 9 innings rate. But the interesting thing with Young Ha is he hasn't allowed a home run this season. We know the Dinos are really great at hitting homers, especially at home. What gives? Will the Dinos hit a homer in this matchup, or will Young Ha Lee keep the door shut on those home runs? I'm going to lean towards the Dinos at minus 1.5, with just the juice at minus 109, which is around minus 110, which is solid for the Dinos at home against any opponent. Also lean on the under 11.5 in this matchup. I think Wright looked a lot better in his last start against Hanwha, and Young Ha Lee always finds a way to just be average and just find a way to get the job done. So I'll definitely lean toward the Dinos at minus 1.5, but also lean on the under 11.5, which seems kind of high with 2 solid pitchers on the mound.
Yeah, and remember what you've said before, because obviously in this type of game, you've got to have a great memory, and you've always said that the Dinos, they do respond after a defeat. Okay, and here we go. The Heroes versus the Lions. Kiwoom absolutely on fire. and then they go and get beat against Samsung, who we know about Samsung. You put your finger in the mouth and you come back with a finger missing.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. This was the game everyone had marked down. Kiwoom was going to win by 100. It won't even be close. Put all your money on minus 1.5 Kiwoom. They'll get the job done. And then they absolutely just can't find their offense at all. Jokic lets up a homer in the first inning, and from there it just was just pitiful. But I mean, at the end of the day, Kiwoom's a better team. We know that. They've always been a better team. Wante Choi is on the mound for Kiwoom. He's striking out 24 batters and only walked 6 this season. He's got a 3.44 ERA and a 3.45 FIP. And if you combine 2019 and 2020, those two seasons, his ERA would be a 3.39 and a 3.43 FIP, which means he's been fantastic from last season to this season. He's a great pitcher. And then Daewoo Kim for Samsung, he's going in for his 4th start. He's already had a couple of relief outings. Yeah, there's just nothing that's too spectacular with him. He's got a 4.29 ERA, a 6.38 FIP. And, you know, we always talk about how Samsung, they have good young pitching. Their starters are really good. But Kim, he's not a young starter. He's a 31-year-old veteran pitcher. He's not like those other Samsung starters. So, again, I'm going to roll with an official play with Kiwoom at minus 1.5. But also, you know, on the under 11 in this matchup with Wante Choi on the mound, who's been excellent.
But that's decent, minus 125. So there has been a reaction because yesterday it was minus 195. I was saying, listen, just let's go minus 2.5, or you could go minus 2.5. But then again, it's the Samsung Lions. You've got to be taking it easy against them boys. That is for sure. Now, a team you don't have to take it easy against is the Fade Me Hanwha Eagles versus the Lottie Giants. And the Lottie Giants crushed them again today.
Yeah, I'm so tired of the Eagles. I'm not taking them ever again.
I'll bet.
We're going to official play with the Lottie Giants at minus 1.5. I read a stat earlier today. If you would have taken, or you would have taken every team against the Hanwha Eagles on the run line, you would be up 15.1 units in just 16 days. So, yeah, they haven't lost a game by less than 2 runs in their entire losing streak. So we're going to official play with Lottie at minus 1.5. Min Jae Jang is on the mound for Hanwha. He's started 4 games. He's pitched in 19 innings and allowed 32 hits. What he's done well is he's limited the walks to just 3, but he's got a 7.58 ERA and a 4.92 FIP. And then Junwon Siu of Lottie, he started 6 games, pitched already 33.2 innings pitched, and yeah, he's got a quality start in his last 3 starts this season. He's got a 4.28 ERA and a pretty high 5.95 FIP. But if you just look at his last 3 starts instead of the 2 starts below that, his FIP and ERA would be a lot better after those 2 starts. And then Min Jae on Hanwha, he's allowed 12 runs in his last 2 starts in just 7 innings combined. So again, this looks like a Lottie blowout, an official play at minus 1.5 with the juice at around minus 120. I'll also lean towards the over 10.5. I don't think Hanwha's pitching is going to be any better today or yesterday than it is today, or whatever. You know, their bullpen's been really beat down and burnt down a little bit. So can't rely on Hanwha at all. Their pitching staff and their hitting is not getting it done, but should get a couple runs against a guy with a 5.95 FIP. So I'll lean towards the over 10.5, but definitely an official play on Lottie minus 1.5.
Okay, so come on, Eagles. We want you to get a few runs, but not enough to get anywhere near the Lottie Giants because we want them to win by 1.5. Now, all them games, well, game 3 are free. Now we're going to have to reverse and go back to a game 2 of free with the Wyverns and the Twins, Jay, and tell us why.
Yeah, so the first game of the 2 will be at 2 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. This will be Ricardo Pinto and Lin Min Ho. We talked about Lin Min Ho yesterday's show. He'll get the first start in this matchup, but then Ricardo Pinto will get the start instead of Kim Tae-hoon in this first matchup. Ricardo Pinto, He's allowed 41 hits in 34.2 innings. He's allowed 16 earned runs, only has 22 strikeouts and 18 walks. He's an import pitcher that's kind of been like an average import pitcher. Hasn't been great, but hasn't been like that bad. He's been finding ways to get out of jams. He still has a 4.15 ERA and a 4.32 FIP. And then Lee Min-ho, we talked about him yesterday. I said he was #1 ranked pitcher coming out of high school. The Wyverns struggle against lefties pitching, hitting just .234 this season against lefties like Min-ho. And so for the 1.1 ERA and a 3.79 FIP, I like Min-ho in this spot. Again, the LG Twins, this will be their second doubleheader of the season. They had a doubleheader earlier in May. They actually won both games against the Kiwoom Heroes. Both games went under the total in those games. So it's hard to know exactly what we'll get, like who the hitters will be and all that. So I'm going to lean on both of these games. I'm not going to touch either game because you don't know who's starting or who's hitting in these games. So it's really tough to break it down all the way. But I'll lean towards the LG Twins at -148. I'll also lean towards the over 9.5 in this matchup. I don't think Ricardo Pinto has that great of stuff, and I think the LG Twins will come out a little bit more with more firepower in this doubleheader.
Okay, and the reason they didn't play today was because of the rain?
Correct.
Right, okay.
They got rained out.
Okay, it was rained out, so hopefully they'll get both games in tomorrow, and then they can just kick on, because I think the Wyverns, they host the Tigers in their next series, so they want to be getting something out of this because the Tigers are in unbelievable form. Okay, let me fling you back to Taiwan, to the brothers and the Guardians. Give me a rundown. If you find a parlay, then fling it at me, and I definitely want a banker.
Yeah, so we're going to go with an official play with the CTBC brothers at -180 against the Fubon Guardians. We'll also lean on the over 13.5 in that matchup. And then for the Hanwha Eagles Lotte Giants game, we'll go with an official play with the Lotte Giants at -1.5 at the juice around -120. Also lean towards the over 10.5 in that matchup. For the Kia Tigers versus KT Wiz game, we're going with an official play with the Kia Tigers at -177. We'll also lean towards the under 11 in that matchup. The Doosan Bears are playing the NC Dinos. I'm going to lean towards the Dinos at -1.5 at the juice at around -110. Also lean on the under 11.5 in that matchup. For the Kiwoom Heroes versus Samsung Lions game, we'll go with an official play with the Kiwoom Heroes at -1.5. We'll also lean towards the under 11 in that matchup. For the SK Wyverns LG Twins game, we're going to lean towards the LG Twins at -148. Also lean towards the over 9.5 in that matchup. And then there's also the second game, but there's no lines out yet in that game. The probable pitchers will be Kim Tae-hoon of SK and Chan Gayu Lim of LG, but that's not official yet. So that's just what the probable pitchers will be. So I can't really tell you either way who the pitchers will be. But if we were to talk about those pitchers and there were lines out, I would recommend taking LG in this game as well. Like I said, they already won a doubleheader before against Kiwoom, and I think Gayu Lim has the better stuff with a 29-8 strikeout to walk ratio over Kim Tae-hoon. So we'll go with LG Twins in that matchup as well, if those are the probable pitchers.
Good stuff, Jay. If you like this video, then please subscribe, press the bell, and we will notify you, and you will never miss any content. And please, not for me, but for Jay, bit of appreciation. Press the thumbs up on your way out, because he puts in so much work and effort for both of us, myself and for you at home. And also, he writes an article, so you press a link in the description. You can go across and there will be not just Jay's articles, there'll be other writers on other sports. We'll be here again tomorrow. Remember, it's game 1 of 3 tomorrow. Game 3 of 3, but we'll see us tomorrow because we'll start a new series. Jay, good luck.
Thank you.
Cheers. That's Jason Radowitz. He's our baseball guru and master. Now, I think he's not far away from having a clean sweep. I'll see you tomorrow.